After the first weekend of the general election, it's already clear this could be the most embarrassing campaign by a government in history. Now, I'm sure you remember the election campaign was launched with a speech in the pouring rain. Things can only get better, blasted in the background, but things didn't get better. Just after that election announcement, Sunak visited a brewery in Wales where this totally normal conversation took place.
So you're looking forward to all the football?
Not so much my bag. But
get people in.
No, but that's because you guys aren't in it.
Well, get people out, there'll be people coming. It'll be good summer of sport.
England at least.
I'm not sure if Rishi Sunak knew before he asked that question that Wales hadn't qualified for the Euros, but in any case, it came across as a somewhat awkward exchange. It got more awkward, though, because on Friday, Sunak visited the Titanic district in Belfast, making the lives of journalists just a little bit too easy.
Prime Minister, we are just yards away from where the Titanic was built and designed. Are you captaining a sinking ship going into this election?
So if you look at what's happened over the past few weeks alone, you can see that our plan is working.
You could have chosen anywhere. Who chose the Titanic district to take a sinking party? Completely bizarre. Later that day, they're supposed to be the most successful party in the Western world, is what people often say about the Conservatives. And we often think it's because they're brutal, cutthroat, professional. They're taking a sinking prime minister to the Titanic or the Titanic district. Later that day, so an image of the Prime Minister on the campaign trail was released. It shows Sunak on his campaign jet standing underneath an exit sign. Plenty of Tories haven't needed an exit sign to see the writings on the wall, though, leaving politics as quickly as possible. Now, a total of 79 Tory MPs have said they won't bother contesting their seats. That's the largest number to quit before a general election since the Second World War. One of the quitters who took Sunak by surprise was Michael Gove. He announced his retirement on Friday night. Just 2 days earlier, the Financial Times had reported this. When Rishi Sunak told his cabinet after weeks of agonising that he would hold a surprise July 4th general election, he immediately won the effusive support of his housing minister, Michael Gove. "Who dares wins," Gove said on Wednesday afternoon, quoting the SAS regiment's motto, "You dared and you will win." Actions, of course, speak louder than words, and Gove's actions suggest those words might have been just a little bit sarcastic. What's just as worrying for Sunak is this: those MPs who are daring enough to stay and fight for their seats don't seem to be trying particularly hard. The Times report a leaked email from CCHQ has put the blame for Sunak's campaign misfortunes on Conservative MPs themselves. The email was apparently sent by mistake and includes a file containing the unvarnished thoughts of Conservative staff on Tory MPs' attitudes to the election. Here's what the Times writes. In Plymouth Moorview, the seat of Johnny Mercer, the Veterans Minister, staff said there was an issue with MP cooperation with CCHQ and funding issues, currently 2K in the bank, and they'd offered support. The Times reported last week that Mercer had written a memo over his frustration with Rishi Sunak's domination of campaigning. So he's saying, "I don't want Rishi Sunak out there talking to people. That is not a recipe for me keeping my seat." Times also report Rebecca Powell, the Nature Minister, I didn't know there was one, was accused by campaigning staff of spending too much time on ministerial business. Under the heading for her Taunton and Wellington seat, the memo read, "MP still focusing too much on ministerial business and non-committal on time she will spend in the seat now and during the campaign." So they're saying, can you promise that you will be knocking on doors on these days? She's saying, maybe. I've got other work to do. Does she want to get re-elected? Not clear. Again, they didn't want this to be public. They sent this email out by mistake with all of these details. And finally, Sarah Atherton, the MP for Wrexham, was accused of refusing to engage in the note, which said, quote, "wants to cancel this week's campaigning sessions and stop campaign manager from running pre-scheduled campaigning sessions over the weekend." So not only does she not want to take part, she doesn't want anyone else to take part either. Other Tory MPs seem to have better things to do than campaign at all. Cheadle's Mary Robinson is reported to be on a 7-day holiday, as is Government Minister Steve Baker. Now, this is good. He told the Mirror this: "The Prime Minister told everyone we could go on holiday and then called a snap election. So I've chosen to do my campaign work in Greece." He is a minister. Right? This is not just any old MP. He's saying, I'm going to do my campaign work from the beach in Greece because I'm a bit annoyed that he called this election anyway. And of course, you probably can't blame MPs for putting their feet up. And those MPs who are making the effort aren't doing so well. Minister for London, Greg Hands, sends his child to the independent St Paul's School, very prestigious school. He's posted in a parents' group chat suggesting that St Paul's, like another private school, should send out a letter warning parents of Labour's plans to remove VAT exempt status from independent schools. Now, he posted an image of the letter from Ryde Boarding School in the group, and he captioned it, "Has anyone seen St Paul's do a letter like this?" Now, you might expect that call for intra-class solidarity would go down well among the well-to-do parents of St Paul's students. But Greg Hands got a different response. One replied with this, "Can we stop assuming everyone is a Tory in this group? A return to some more morality, less corruption and more social conscience in British politics is not something to oppose necessarily. I appreciate this will be widely derided as a comment, but I do think this group needs some balance." Now, that wasn't necessarily widely derided because it got 8 thumbs up in this group of very, very posh parents. Another parent said, could this migrate to another chat? There will be people on this chat who, despite the very real extra financial burden VAT would bring, still feel it is hard to defend private schools being VAT exempt, just as there will be those who think the opposite. It is a political discussion, and as such, this doesn't feel the place for it. So we already know the Tories have lost the votes of the majority of people under 70, I think it's the majority of people under 70. Every age group under 70 is voting for Labour. They've now lost private school parents, the parents of people who send their kids to St Paul's. This is a sort of SOS, red flashing lights warning for the Conservatives. If you've lost the kids at one of Britain's poshest private schools, you're going to be in trouble. Those screenshots, of course, were then leaked to the Times, so adding insult to injury. Meanwhile, sitting Tory MP for Telford, Lucy Allen, who isn't seeking re-election, has decided to go out with a bang, declaring this, "I'm supporting Alan Adams to be Telford's next MP. If you want to help Alan or donate to his campaign, sign up to this website." Now, Alan Adams, as you can see from that image, is not the Tory candidate. He is a candidate for Reform UK. Lucy Allen has been suspended from the Conservative Party. Even Sunak's strongest cheerleaders are also sounding rather desperate. So the Daily Mail this morning bragged, "Rishi Sunak fights back after his national service plan is ridiculed." Right? So when Prime Minister fights back after universal ridicule is the best headline you can hope for, you really are screwed. Crystal, it's been fairly enjoyable, hasn't it, the general election campaign so far?
I'm so delighted to be here and to just add to that ridicule, I moved here in 2009 and had 6 months of Gordon Brown before 14 years of Tories. So permit me this election cycle, just a lot of schadenfreude. It's delightful to watch the shambles with every defection, with every resignation, with every leak and reveal. I honestly, there isn't enough popcorn in the world for me right now. I'm having a great time watching it. I mean, truly, that parents' WhatsApp group is it's so delicious. When that's when all you've got for your campaign is WhatsApp groups, I feel bad for that man. So yes, obviously I'm having a lovely time watching it all. I'm so glad that we're not going to have to hear from Michael Gove anymore. What a treat for me. But obviously it is also tinged with a bit of sadness because, I don't feel like my other options are significantly better right now. I feel sad about what could have been. I feel sad for the Labour Party that once was. And it's hard knowing that, we're trading in one bunch for what feels right now like a diet version of the Tories. And I wanted more than that. I wanted better options. And that part's really hard. Labour currently giving us nothing to be excited about. Their media appearances, they're refusing to commit to anything right now. And everything that they have said in the last few months has been very disappointing. Their stance on Gaza, rolling back their commitments on nationalizing our industries. It's all very, very disappointing. And I know it's not going to be a surprise to anyone listening to hear me say that, but I hope something happens soon to get me a bit excited.
I'm not sure we're the target vote. Maybe Labour will sort of pull something out of the hat to try and get us infused, but they seem to be sort of interested in another sort of segment of voters. I do like their sort of the tone in that group chat, which is, we might be posh, but we're not all evil, sort of as St Paul's parents.